Alright guys, how's it going? It's Eastbayanglers, and today we're talking all about, fishing, what we love, and we're talking about people keeping fish, no matter what the circumstance, it's catch and keep no matter what the size, no matter, what the species, regardless of whether they like the fish, whether they like the taste of it, or whether they're just going to throw it in their freezer, never come back for it again, or come back for it at a later date when they're not really sure if it's any good. At that point, most of it goes to waste anyway. It gets given to people, it goes to waste, and more so goes to waste than gets eaten. So that's what happens to most of the stock trout that get eaten, caught. And there's a lot of people that catch a lot of trout, and if they're keeping them, that just means that they're probably got a high probably wasting quite a bit. Now there are some exceptions, so there are some people out there doing a good job and all that of making it stretch and just eat, using it all, eating all the fish and making sure nothing goes to waste. I recommend going ahead and write dates if you're going to freeze fish on the bags. Write the date that you're actually putting it in the freezer, or the day you caught it. Gives you a really really good idea of how long it's been in there. So right now, I kind of am doing a little rant here where we're going to talk a little bit about the feelings of a lot of anglers that are catch and release, and some of the anglers like myself that promote catch and release and practice it, 99.9% of the time, sometimes 100% of the time. And then there's some anglers that like to do a little bit of both and pick and choose, and that's okay too. And there's some anglers that just keep everything, and I'm really not fond of those anglers, just because they can deplete a fishery extremely fast, especially in drought years that we are having in the West Coast. These fish are extremely hungry and very much more susceptible to being caught, and if they get them all, they're gone. So right now, you're going to run into a lot of different anglers, and they're going to be keeping fish that are undersized, or fish that in general have better use. So, if you catch a really small trout, it's better to let that trout go, and it's going to get eaten by, a bass or a bird or something in the nature world. You're going to have that fish get recycled 100%. Whereas if you take it home, a lot of times, by the time you get done with the little bones and all that, pinching with the meat, it's really not, it's not really worth it. So, I mean, that's my thought process on things like that. Big fish that are wild, they're breeders, let them go. Things of that nature, very basic, very much in the benefit of everyone and everyone to come. So, if you guys are out there and you see somebody with a bucket, the old bucket's it's a bad sign. 5-gallon buckets or any buckets like large are not good. You see undersized fish, call your game warden, call your local authority, if you're, depending on how bad they're doing it. I mean, sometimes these guys don't have a clue, and they're not going to catch nothing, not even wind. But at this point, there are some people that will just go out there with bare night crawlers, and you can do some damage with a bare night crawler. It's been around forever. It's always going to work, and it's always been working. So today we're just talking about, keeping fish. Remember, keep a fish in a certain size range that makes sense. It's going to have enough meat if you're going to keep it to eat. Or, make sure that, if you just in general, the care of the fish, if you're going to let it go, and ultimately keeping the right fish, so that not only do you get to enjoy keeping fish year after year, but the fishery doesn't suffer, and the other anglers don't suffer as well. Ultimately, I hope you guys enjoyed this little chit chat. We'll do some more of this kind of thing in the future, so stay tuned and stay warm, because I'm freezing my butt off here. 25 to 32 degrees, snow on the ground for the last week and a half. I don't know. All right, stay tuned.